Ano ho ba sa Tagalog ang future? Thank you. Hinaharap. Literally, it means that which is ahead of us, or our destination, or where we are heading on to, ang hinaharap natin. The liturgical season, which we begin today, gives us a different perspective about the future. Not as something that we are going to, but as that which is coming to us. And we call it Advent. That is what Advent literally means. Coming. Pagdating. Hindi yung pupuntahan, kundi ang darating. We ritualize this season every year for 4 weeks by lighting 4 candles. 4 na kandila, 1 candle per week. If you can also do it at home, I advise you to do it. Simpleng corona lang naman at 4 na kandila. And perhaps you can have a ritual prayer together as a family, kahit once a week lang. You can choose the day. So, 3 candles with a dark color of purple, and 1 candle with a brighter color of pink, which announces the breaking of the dawn. Pink, the symbol of hope, the color of Gaudete, the color of rejoicing. It is important to emphasize that Advent is not yet Christmas. Please lang ho, tandaan naman natin yon. Advent is not yet Christmas. Please, have some patience to go through this season of fasting and prayer. If we want to truly feel the joy of Christmas soon, huwag naman tayong bumigay sa commercialization of Christmas. September pa lang, Pasko na. It makes our traditions totally meaningless. Ewan ko ba kung anong mentalidad yon? Gusto natin sulit. We will celebrate a meaningless Christmas if we do not prepare for it spiritually with the penance of Advent. Napansin ba ninyo sa liturgy of the church, before a joyful season, meron munang season of penance. Kung merong Lenten season before Easter, merong Advent season before Christmas, a season of penance. So we are called upon by the church to do 2 things during this season of penance. 2 bagay. To look back and to look forward. To look back and to look forward. To look back at the first coming of the Lord, and to look forward to His second coming, His return. When do we do that? Well, in the present time. Ibig sabihin, ngayon, now. Advent is really about developing a good sense of history. Some people have mistaken or have the mistaken notion na akala nila history is just about retelling the past. Sa Tagalog, retelling is salaysay. No. History is more than just retelling the past. It is more about giving meaning or making sense of the past in the present so that we can look forward to a future. Involved kagad yung past, present, and future. And the term making sense o pagbibigay kahulugan sa Tagalog is pagbibigay saysay. Di ba? Kapag meaningless yung sinasabi ng kausap mo, minsan sasabihin mo, wala namang saysay yung pinagsasabi-sabi niyan eh. Ibig sabihin, yung saysay means meaning for us. The root word of kasaysayan, which is what history is for us, is not salaysay, but saysay. Kabuluhan, kahulugan, meaning. Yun ang history para sa atin. There is no sense in looking back to the past except to understand kung sino tayo ngayon, why we are who we are now, why we behave the way we behave now. There is something very wrong, alam ninyo, something very wrong about the attitude of escapism that is so prevalent among young people nowadays. Lalo na yung nagsasabing, the past is past. Let us just forget it and move on. Move forward. It is a good idea, but it is wrong. Who wants to get stuck in the past anyway? It is precisely because we do not want our past mistakes to keep repeating themselves that we need to refresh the past properly in our memory. Makakalimutin kasi yung tao. Madaling tamaan ng amnesia. Otherwise, without a sense of the past, the ghosts of the past can continue to haunt us in the present. We remain in that dark and perpetual state of victimhood that will deprive us of a future because we do not know how to review the past in a manner that lights up the path in the present for the future. Yan ang sense of history. Madalas nating marinig yung kasabihan na isang warning. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Ang hindi matuto ng aral sa kasaysayan, uulit-ulitin ang mga pagkakamali. Pero I think you have already heard me propose a more grim formulation of that statement. Ako, sasabihin ko lang, those who do not learn from history are simply doomed. Hindi lang doomed to repeat it, doomed. Ang hindi matuto ng aral sa kasaysayan ay wasak. Alam niyo bang the opposite of remember? Hindi forget, but dismember. Ang ibig sabihin ng dismember is to collapse. Is that what we want? I am inclined to believe that one of the greatest contributions of Christianity to humankind is precisely the sense of history. Alam nyo, madalang kaming magtapon ng dokumento. Pumunta kayo sa lahat ng mga simbahan, sa lahat ng mga parokya, sa lahat ng mga diocese. Nakikita mo how we keep documents. We do a safekeeping of documents at gumagawa kami ng mga archives. Obligasyon ng lahat ng obispo, yung safekeeping of documents. Pag nireview mo, mababalikan mo. Kasi it is part of our compulsion to preserve both our tangible and intangible heritage. Without a sense of history, without a sense of heritage, we cannot even be able to develop a good sense of identity. Walang identity ang taong walang sense of history. Si Jesus, ang galing niya, tinuruan niya tayo ng history. He left us a memorial at the Last Supper, which we have kept repeating in the ritual of the breaking of the bread. Bakit? Kasi sabi niya He told us to do so. Kailan niya sinabi yon? Nung huling hapunan na kinain niya kasama ang kanyang mga disciples. Ang sabi niya, do this in memory of me. Gawin ninyo ito bilang paggunita sa akin. Look, 2,000 taon na nakararaan, ginagawa pa rin natin. We are still here. We are still doing it in memory of Him. And we are doing it not just to recall a past event, but to make it present all over again. You know, the Advent prayer that goes with every Eucharist is what we keep repeating. Pag sinabi nung pare, let us proclaim the mystery of faith. Ang matandang formulation of the mystery of faith was simply Maranatha, which is what Advent is about. Come, Lord Jesus. Come, Lord. Maranatha. But the more elaborate proclamation ay yung inuulit natin. Pagsabi ng paring, let us proclaim the mystery of faith. And now, dati kasi formulation natin, simpleng, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. Ngayon, we proclaim your death, O Lord. And that death is in the past. And we profess your resurrection. And that resurrection lingers on in the present. He's alive. Until you come again in the future. Past, present, and future. It is in the celebration of the Eucharist that we keep refreshing our sense of history by making sense of the past in the present so that we have a future to look forward to. Ang galing ng Christianity, di ba? Minsan may nagtanong sa akin, Bishop, hanggang kailan tayo magse-celebrate ng Eucharist? Meaning, until when will we keep recalling the Last Supper in memory of Jesus? And the answer is right there, in the mystery of faith. Answer, until He comes again. Until He comes again. Meaning to say, we will not stop eating this bread and drinking this cup until He comes again. He taught us to keep celebrating His redeeming passion and death and resurrection in the present in a manner that looks forward to the coming of a fulfillment, which He calls a return. In short, Jesus is teaching us to dream of the future, but to start the fulfillment of the future already in the present. Isipin mo, gusto mong maging future doctor? Gusto mong maging future lawyer? Gusto mong maging future architect? Hindi mo naman tinitake seriously yung pag-aaral mo for law, for medicine, or for architecture. In the present, may future ka ba? Kaya minsan maraming nagkakamali sa concept of the future. The future will not drop like a pie from the sky. You weave it. Hinahabi natin. Already in the present, gradually, thread by thread. Ang isang kumot, maraming sinulid yan. Magpasensya ka. Hindi naman lilitaw overnight yung kumot. Hinahabi mo bawat sinulid. Like if we truly want to have a better future for this country, we don't just wait for it. Hindi babagsak yan na parang basta na lang mangyayari. We work for it. Because if we don't, we deserve to be doomed. We work for it now. We take part in realizing it. We don't just wait to reach that future. We wait with patience as we work for its realization. Remember, yung tinurong panalangin sa atin ni Jesus sa Ama namin, He did not teach us to say, may we reach the kingdom of heaven after our life here on earth. Hindi naman ganyan, di ba? Baliktad, ang sabi niya, may your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Meaning, may we learn to live life on earth as if heaven has begun. Wala kang aasahang langit kundi mo siya sinimulan dito sa lupa para nang sa langit. And for that to happen, we have to develop the virtue of patience, the spiritual and emotional intelligence to postpone gratification. One of the best signs daw of immaturity ay yung taong hindi ma-postpone yung gratification. Pag gusto, gawin kagad. We heard Jesus say in the gospel, do not let your hearts be drowsy from carousing and from drunkenness and the anxieties of life. Rather, be vigilant. Be vigilant. We have to develop the ability not just to wait for a realization. Ang maganda sa word wait, it can also mean to serve. Di ba ang tawag natin sa mga naglilingkod sa restaurant? Ang tawag natin? Waiter. Ano bang trabaho ng waiter? Tatayo-tayo lang? Hindi. Nagsiserve yan. There is a difference between waiting for and waiting on. But they are related. You wait for and you wait on at the same time. Advent is that kind of waiting. It's not passive waiting. It's active waiting. Active, very active. Why? Because we act and work in order to take part in God's creative activity. Ang creator, hindi naman tayo, kundi si God. We only participate in God's creative activity up to now. And so we have to be able to stop. Like we do on Sunday, hinto mo ng trabaho, we stop in order to contemplate God's work in progress. Binabalik tanawan natin yung mga nagawa natin sa kasalukuyan. And that is what the writer of the book of Genesis tells us about what God did at creation, paulit-ulit. After creating, God would stop and look at what He has done. And at the end of the whole thing, God looked at everything that He had done. And He saw that it was good. Ayun. That is what Advent is for. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, is how you make the future break into the presence